Dear students, welcome you all to this session. Today we are going to discuss the theory of firm under perfect competition. Under this, we are going to discuss the topic today, the supply curve of a firm under perfect competition. This is the topic to be covered for this session today, supply curve of a firm under perfect competition. Before going into detail into this topic, we need to discuss some important question was given in the last session that explain the profit maximization and level of output under the following conditions. What are those conditions? First condition is P is equal to MC. The second condition, MC must be non-decreasing at the level of profit maximizing level of output. Because this question is very important, and if you understand this answers for this problem, you will understand that topic very clearly. For that purpose, I thought of discussing this question today. Why the P must be equal to MC at the profit maximizing level of output? We know, we have already discussed, the profit will be increasing for a firm, or profit will be more or adding to the added to the firm when the total revenue is greater than total cost. Therefore, profit is nothing but the difference between the total revenue and total cost. When you keep the difference between the TR and TC maximum, in other words, you are keeping the profit of the firm maximum. Therefore, as long as the TR is greater than TC, profit will be added to the firm by producing more and more output. Therefore, in terms of, when we talk about the profit in terms of TR, that is total revenue, and total cost TC, it is called as TR-TC approach. This approach will be taught you in your degree class further, but for you at this level of at this stage, if you understand that the difference between TR and TC must be greater to keep the profit level maximum is enough. And also, this profit can be explained in terms of MR and MC approach also. TR-TC approach and MR-MC approach. Already we have discussed what is MR. MR is change in total revenue per unit increase in output. It's called marginal revenue. The marginal concept I have explained to you all in the previous sections. Marginal mean an additional unit. Here for an additional unit of output, whatever the revenue earned is called as marginal revenue. To produce one additional unit of output, whatever the cost incurred is called as marginal cost. Therefore, we can say either TR should be greater than TC for the profit maximizing level of output, or we can say when MR, as long as MR is greater than MC, firm will be going on producing the level of output. In this diagram, this is the diagram, this explains you the conditions needed for profit maximizing level of output under perfect market competitive structure. Therefore, you can see here MR, MC curve is cutting the price line from the above. What do you mean by that? Here MC is greater than price. But at this juncture, MC curve and the price line intersect. At that point, the output level is Q1. If you go on beyond this level of Q1 output, what do you observe? You observe that price line above MR, the MC cost line is below. That means price is more. Price line, we have already established that concept. Under perfect competitive market for a firm, price is nothing but marginal revenue. I will explain further for you that why P is equal to MR. Therefore, we can say for a perfect competitive firm, price line, or we can say price is equal to MR only for perfect competitive market. A firm functioning under perfect competitive market. Therefore, what you can observe, MR is greater than MC because MC line is below, MR line or price line is above. There's a difference is there. What is this difference? The difference indicates you profit. and it goes on up to Q4 level output, price line above, MC line below. And here at the point B, you can see the MC curve cut the price line, or we can say MR line from below. That means what? It is obvious. MC was low than the MR. That's what it cuts at that point from below. Therefore, this is the point where price is equal to MR is equal to MC, or you can say price is equal to MC. Why should be there? We have already seen why that condition is necessary for us. We have last class we have discussed, for a profit maximizing level of output of a firm, there are three conditions. First condition is P should be equal to MC. That is fulfilled here at the point B. P is equal to MC. Why? Price line and MC line intersecting at this point. And also, at this point, price line is intersecting, what is MR. Therefore, MC curve and the price line is intersecting here. And also, the second condition we have discussed in the last class. First condition is P must be is equal to MC. Second condition we have discussed was MC curve, marginal cost curve, must be non-decreasing. It should not decrease at that point. It should increase. That condition is fulfilled here only. Here MC curve increasing. Here MC curve decreasing. Therefore, the two conditions, not MC must not decrease and P must be equal to MC. Both the conditions are fulfilled at the point B. If you extend that line down to the x-axis, what is x-axis? X-axis, we are measuring the level of output. Therefore, what is happening? That point, corresponding level of output is Q4. This is the Q4. Therefore, what we are telling here, we are mentioning that when MR, in this point, we can also tell MR is equal to MC. Why? We have already proved that price is equal to MR. Therefore, when price line and MC line intersect, this is the point. Therefore, price line P is equal to MC. But P is equal to also MR. Therefore, MR is equal to MC at this point. Therefore, this is called MR's MC approach to determine the maximum profit maximizing level of output for a firm under perfect competitive market. You won't believe, in your book, it is also not mentioned that this is the firm, not only maximum profit maximizing level of output is reached at this point, but also this is the point where firm is in equilibrium. Why we are telling firm is in equilibrium? Because you will, in later degree classes, you will study firm is in equilibrium. Why this? Because at this point, firm doesn't have any tendency to increase the output further. Why? You can consider the Q5 level of output, Q6 level of output. This is Q5, this point is Q6 output. You can see here, MC exceeds the price line. Price line is below, MC line is above. That means MC exceeds the price line. But you know what is price line? MR. Then what you can say, in other words, MR is below, MC is above. Then as long as MC is above than MR, or MC exceeds, that is cost exceeds the marginal revenue, firm is not going to produce. The objective of firm to maximize the profit by producing in such a way maximum level of output. But here, as when MC is greater than MR, cost exceeds the revenue, then firm will stop where MR is equal to MC. Why MR is equal to MC, firm will stop? It goes beyond the level of Q4, it reaches Q5 and Q6, obviously it is going to lose the profit. Why? MC exceeds the MR. Or you can say MC exceeds the MR, or you can say MC exceeds the price. We have already proved that for a perfect competitive firm, price is equal to MR. Therefore, even in this region also, firm cannot stop the production because it is not advisable. Why? In this region, beyond the level of Q1, you can observe price line is above, price line or MR line, price line or MR line is above, this is MC line is below. Therefore, what is happening here in this region? In this region, MR greater than MC. What do you mean by that? When you're producing in this level of output, each unit of output adding to the profit of the firm. Therefore, as long as MR is greater than MC, you cannot stop the production. Firm will not decide to stop the production because each unit of output adding to the profit of the firm. Therefore, firm will be producing up to the Q4 level. At the Q4 level, that is where MR is equal to MC or price is equal to MC. That first condition of condition needed for profit maximization of output is fulfilled. Second condition, MC not decreasing. That also MC upward. Therefore, both the conditions are fulfilled at this point B. Therefore, this point B is also called as profit maximizing level of output or firm's equilibrium, because firm doesn't have any decision to decrease the level of output or increase the level of output, because firm is at rest, equilibrium point of rest for a firm, because it doesn't have any tendency to decrease the output or increase the output, because it reaches the maximum output at this point by fulfilling all the requirement needed for profit maximizing level of output. Therefore, that first condition P must be equal to MC is very important to determine the maximum level of output here at the Q4 level. The second question, therefore I hope you understood both the point at P. Why? Both the conditions needed, we have defined what are the conditions needed for profit maximization in our last class. The first condition is this, second condition is this. You are fulfilling these conditions. And also you know the definition for profit. The definition for profit is, in two terms you can say profit. One is TR must be greater than TC. This is called TR-TC approach. Or you can say in terms of MR, MR greater than MC. In this point, up to between Q1 and Q4, MR is greater than MC. Why can't you will ask produce Q5 and Q6? Here you see the diagram, MC exceeds the MR. When MC exceeds the MR, it is obvious there you are facing loss. This region you are facing loss. Therefore, better achieving maximum level of output, stop here. That is called maximum level of output. Not only that, that is the maximum level of output. Ensure the equilibrium point of the firm also. I hope you understood this concept, why P must be equal to MC and the profit maximizing level of output. This in later classes you will study that. The P is equal to MC is called as allocative efficiency. When you produce, keeping this concept P is equal to MC and allocating your resources in such a way, that is why economics become as an important concept in case of production or for all the firms. Why? At this point, P is equal to MC, it is called allocative efficiency of firm. What is allocative efficiency? Inputs are allocated in such a way without wasting resources, without wasting money, in order to maximize the level of output. Therefore, allocative efficiency, we studied in our last class, production function is defined under efficiency of allocation. Therefore, here allocative efficiency is ensured at P is equal to MC, but at this level you don't need to mention that, but you should understand why P is equal to MC. Only based on these two concepts you have to explain this answer. One is TR, as long as TR is TC, greater than TC, firm is going to add more and more output, because more and more output constitute more and more profit to the firm. Or also you have to say as long as MR is greater, because you have to convert TR, MR, both are same. TR is for revenue for total output. MR is revenue for additional output. Both are, we are calculating revenue for additional output. Here, total revenue. Both the concepts are same, but in terms of units, it is for one additional unit. It is for all the total output of produced. Therefore, then MR, MC. Then you have to prove that for perfect competitive market, P is equal to MR. Therefore, MR is where it stops. At MR is equal to, MR is price line, MC is both are intercepting at this point, intersection point. At this point, condition MR is equal to MC. But we know for the perfect competitive market, MR is P, therefore P is equal to MC. You have proved this is the condition P is equal to MC. They are asking, the question is, Why P must be equal to MC? The reason is MR is equal to MC at the profit maximizing level of output. If MR is equal to MC, MR is nothing for perfect competitive market is price only. Therefore, P is equal to MC. You have proved it. The next one. The next question was, the next question was, why PR should be MC not non-decreasing MC. I will prove you how the P is. Q1 we will say output level, initial output level. Q2 after increasing output, after increasing level of output, Therefore, what is the change in output? Delta Q is equal to Q2 minus Q1. What is TR1? TR1, I can say TR1, you know that. TR1 is P into Q1. Why? Perfect competitive firms are price takers. Therefore, P is constant. Whatever the quantity you are producing, P will be constant. We have seen it is perfectly elastic. Price is perfectly elastic. Any output level you can produce, it will be constant. Therefore, P into Q1. TR2, you know that P into Q2 because P is constant. Therefore, only Q1, Q2 changes. Therefore, what is change in Q? Change in TR. Change in TR is equal to take P outside, that is PQ2 minus PQ1. What is this? P outside, we common factor Q2 minus Q1. Therefore, what is MR? MR is equal to change in TR divided by change in Q. What is change in TR? P into Q2 minus Q1 divided by change in Q. What is change in Q? Q2 minus Q1. What is common factor? This and this get cancelled. Therefore, what is MR? MR is equal to price. This is what we proved it last class. Now we will see the next question, answer B. That is, why MC must be non-decreasing? MC must be non-decreasing. Why? We will see again with the help of the particular diagram which we have already discussed. You can see that 2 points. One is MC is decreasing at one point, other point MC is increasing. Therefore, we can say from here why MCs must not be decreasing. You can see here at this point MC intersect the price line from above. That means MC at this area, MC greater than price line or MR line. MR line. At here also it MC intersects, but at this point what you can see, it is P is equal to, at this point it is below, it intersects from below. Here, from here we can say price greater than MC or MR greater than MC at this point. Here, all this, everywhere in this area, MR or price greater than MC. Therefore, it is not advisable, even though we are getting the first condition. What is the first condition? P must be equal to MC. At this point also we are getting the condition, fulfilled that condition. P is equal to MC. At this point also we are getting fulfilled that P is equal to MC. But it is not a profit maximizing level of output. Why? Because there is a potential for the firm to increase more and more output because MR is greater than MC. Price is more, MC is down. Price line is more, MC is down. Price line is more, MC is down. What is price line for perfect competitive firm? MR. Why? What is price? Price is the one determining factor, TR. TR is equal to P into Q. Therefore, for one, if we are producing one additional unit, then TR is equal to P, that is TR is equal to MR. Therefore, P is equal to MR. For one additional unit, P into Q, P into 1. For one additional unit when you produce, whatever TR added by producing 1 unit of output, it is called marginal revenue. Marginal revenue is the revenue earned by selling 1 additional unit of output. Therefore, when P into Q, Q is equal to 1, then we can equate TR straight away to MR. Therefore, at this area, you can see everywhere P is greater than, or MR is greater, MC below. Only at the point B, MR become MC. Therefore, it must be upward sloping. MC curve must be upward sloping, not downward sloping. If you stop here, you are missing, the firm is missing to earn more profit without producing up to Q1 to Q4, because up to Q1 to Q4, MR is greater than MC. Therefore, we cannot take this point, even though P is equal to MC, MC curve is downward sloping. Therefore, for this question, to write or explain this question, you must have this diagram. You have to draw this diagram and you have to explain what is happening between Q1 and the Q4 level. You have to tell MR is greater than MC. Therefore, each output is going to produce, add to the profit of the firm between this Q1 and Q4. Above Q4, what will happen? MC exceeds the MR. Here we are telling MC greater than MR. Therefore, firm will stop the point where MR is equal to MC. Therefore, at this point B, all the conditions are fulfilled. What are the first condition? We have seen P is equal to MC. The second condition, MC must be non-decreasing. That condition also is fulfilled at this point. Therefore, the point B, the corresponding level of output to that point B is Q4. Q4 is the level of output which is going to maximize the profit of the firm. And not only that, this is the point in the degree level, because at this level they didn't talk to you about the level of equilibrium of the firm. But the same firm coincides, the firm equilibrium also coincides at that point. Because firm is in equilibrium, because firm is in rest. Firm is not going to think whether to increase the output or decrease the output. It has reached the maximum level at MR is equal to MC. That is what it is called as. Firm also is in equilibrium. At the same time, firm also producing the maximum level output. It won't go here. You have to explain why MC exceeds MR. It won't stop here. Why? MR exceeds MC. When as long as MR exceeds MC, firm can produce more and more output. Therefore, firm stops at MR is equal to MC. I hope this concept is very clear for you. We will proceed to the topic to be covered today. I have explained all these notes already. Now, meaning of supply. Meaning of supply. This is the topic we are going to cover today under the theory of firm for a perfect market competition. What is supply? Here supply means a quantity of commodity that the firm willing to offer for a sale at a given price at the given period of time. It is called supply in the economic sense. Supply means, you know, that some farmers, they produce output, but they don't want to, they are not willing to offer for sale in the market. Why? They only produce for their own needs. They don't want to supply. Maybe they don't have excess also. Even though they have excess also, they always want to keep with them. They are not willing. Therefore, when we say supply, there must be willingness of the producer to offer for a sale, not only at a particular given prices and a particular technology, and also for a given period of time. Because time to time, agricultural products, we can always notice prices changes. Therefore, given period of time is very, very important, and the given prices of factors of production. When the factors of production increase, we know the price of commodity also will increase. When the prices of the factors of production decrease, we also knew that price of the commodity will decline. Therefore, the supply depends on the input prices also, and also supply depend on the period of time. You can say in the seasonal crops, when the crops are harvested, that season, what will happen to the commodity price? Will be low. When there is a non-season for that particular commodity, prices will be high. Therefore, these factors should be considered when we define supply. I hope you understood. Supply, quantity of a commodity, and the willingness of the producer at a given price at given period of time. These points should be there in the definition. The next point we are going to discuss is supply schedule. What is supply schedule? I have already explained you. Supply schedule is a table. It's a tabular presentation is called as schedule. What that tabular explains us? It has two variables. One column is price, other column is quantity of a particular commodity corresponding to the each level of prices. At 50 rupees, what is the supplied amount commodity? At 40 rupees, what is the supply? 30 rupees, what is the amount of supplied beans? And 20 rupees, what is the supply? 10 rupees, what is the supply? This is when the price is more, supply is more. When price decrease, supply also decrease. We all knew that. This is the relationship, a positive relationship between supply and the quantity of commodity for that particular price. Therefore, supply schedules explain the relationship between that price of a particular commodity and the quantity supplied at that particular price. And also under the two assumptions. What are the assumptions? Under the given, under technology as well as the given prices of the factors of output, factors of production. We have seen in the production function is one particular production function is defined only for the particular output level. When the production under the given technology, when the technology changes, the output also changes. For example, with modern, very efficient technology, with a given level of output, you can produce more output. But outdated, a very traditional technology, very inefficient technology, with the same level of output, you will produce less output. That is what it says. Given technology should be mentioned when you mention the prices of the commodity and also prices of the inputs. Because prices of the input and technology both will determine the price of the commodity. The next one, supply curve. Supply curve, it is nothing but it is a diagrammatic representation of the supply schedule or the table of the supply table or supply schedule. Therefore, it is a supply curve. What we explain this one by representing the schedule. The x-axis we plot the level of output. Y-axis we plot the prices corresponding to the each level of output. Therefore, supply curve is two axes will be explained. One is x-axis output, the other one is y-axis. Y-axis prices, x-axis output for the given technology and also for the given level of input prices. Next one, supply curve. What are the supply curve we are going to study today? The supply curves are two types. One is long run supply curve, other one is short run supply curve. We have the concept of short run and the long run have been explained to you the earlier classes. That is, short run mean one factor will be variable, input variable, other input will be fixed. We will have the differences between inputs as variable inputs and the fixed inputs. But on the other hand, in the long run supply curve, there are no input differences such as variable input and fixed input. All the inputs are variable in the long run when we expand the business. It's at the large scale. Therefore, simultaneously, all the inputs are variable. There is no difference as variable cost, fixed cost, variable input, fixed input. That is the difference we are going to see now. The next one. Now, this diagram, what it explains this diagram? Please observe, because these two questions are very important in the examination point of view. Derive a supply curve of a firm for the short run supply curve of a firm, or derive a long run supply curve of a firm. Always they ask. This is a 6 marks question and 20 sentences. Without fail, you need to explain a diagram with the same diagram for a short run supply curve. What is this diagram explains you? It's a very easy question if you understand this question concept. It's a long answer question. You know, x-axis output, y-axis prices are measured, price and cost, and x-axis output is measured. You can observe here two different level of prices are indicated. One is P1, other one is P2. Market prices. These are market prices. And also you can observe, notice three curves are there. SMC, you know what is SMC, short run marginal cost curve. The other one short run average cost curve, SAC. Other one is average variable cost. Therefore, it is obvious this is a short run production function. Is explained, the cost are explained here. That average variable cost is there. Therefore, what is going to here? This diagram explains us for different market prices, what are the level of output produced? The level of output produced, the level of output produced for the different market prices. The next we can see, you can see the market price P1 and market price P2. You see P1 is the upper price, it exceeds the average variable cost. P1 is up and average variable cost is down. But when you say P2, you can observe, it's a very important notice you have to consider. P2, all the way for all level of output, P2 is less than ABC. You may ask me, why you are only taking ABC without talking SMC and ABC? Why? In the last class we have defined there are three conditions needed for a firm and a perfect competitive market to ensure the profit maximizing level of output. What are the three conditions? P must be is equal to MC. The second condition, MC must be non-decreasing. Third condition, for short run firm, price must be greater than or equivalent to ABC. For the short run, P must be greater than or equivalent to ABC in the short run. In the long run, P must be greater than or equal to AC. What is AC? It is LRAC in the long run. These are the three. This is the third condition. Now we are studying the third condition for the profit maximizing level of output. All the two conditions we finished. That is what I am mentioning to you to notice that P1 is greater and AB is lesser. Therefore, P1 is greater than ABC. P1 is greater than ABC. But P2, what you can say about P2? P2 is lower than ABC. Therefore, two situations we are going to study, case 1 and case 2. Case 1 is what? P1 greater than ABC. Second case is what? P2 lesser than ABC. Because for P2 you can notice, that ABC, P2 is below, so much below. P2 is very much below. ABC is very much up. Therefore, what is this condition? P2 less than ABC. Therefore, the 4.7 shows the output levels chosen by a profit maximizing firm in the short run for two values of the market prices P1 and P2. What is P1? Which exceeds the minimum ABC. What is P2? Which is less than minimum ABC. I hope you understood. The next one. Short run supply curve of firm under perfect competition. We are continuing how to derive. Derivation of short run to supply curve of a firm have two parts. One part is case 1. Other part is case 2. What is case 1 implies? Price is greater than or equal to the minimum ABC. Because this is our condition 3 for the profit maximizing level. The standard conditions. That one we are going to study under case 1. Case 2, what will happen if the price is less than minimum ABC? That is the price P2 indicates. This is price P1 indicates. And we are going to see again. Therefore, case 1, price is greater than or equal to minimum ABC. What will happen? By equating this one, we are going to see here. In my graph, you can see, you equate this P1 to the MC curve here. You can, you can equate equate it here. Why? You equate upon equating this P1 to the rising part of the SMC curve. This is the rising part. What is happening here? It is here you are fulfilling your first condition, P is equal to MC. This is the first condition. What is the second condition? You are also, at this point, you are also fulfilling MC non-decreasing. MC non-decreasing. Therefore, both the conditions needed for profit maximization is fulfilled at this point by equating the price P1 to the upward rising part of the MC curve. Here MC curve intersect the price curve. P and MC curve intersected. That is what we are calling it as intersection, means they crosses each other. Therefore, price line and MC line at this juncture crosses each other. And also second point, MC non-decreasing. We didn't take this point because here also they are intersecting, here also they are intersecting, but we didn't take it. Why we didn't take it? Our condition for profit maximization, MC must be non-decreasing. Here MC decreasing, but condition will be non-decreasing. Therefore, those two conditions needed for the profit maximization level of output is fulfilled at this juncture. If you connect that point to the output level, there you are producing Q1 level of output. Therefore, what they are telling, and this output level, now you see the third condition. What is the third condition for the profit maximizing level of output? P must be greater than or equivalent to ABC. See, at this is the line we are going to, corresponding line we are going to make it, because this is the output fulfilling the conditions needed for profit maximizing level of output. At this level you see where the ABC curve cut at this point. You see at this point, at this line, ABC below price line exceeds. Therefore, this condition also, that is price line at this point, price line also exceeds ABC. Not equivalent, P greater than ABC. P greater at this point. Therefore, we can say all the three conditions is fulfilled at this point for the profit maximizing level output Q1. Therefore, this point we are going to take it as a profit maximizing level of output for the firm. Then what happened to P2? We have already concerned about P1. What is happening at the P1? At the P1, first condition P is equal to MC, and the second condition P at this point P is equal to first condition P is equal to MC, second condition MC not decreasing, third condition P greater than ABC is fulfilled. ABC fulfilled, because ABC is here, price line is up. But P2, what you can say about P2? P2, all the three conditions are not fulfilled. Therefore, when there is P greater than ABC only, when there is at P2, you can say P2 here, you can say here all the way, all the positive level of outputs. This is says positive level of outputs. Positive level of outputs, what do you mean by that? It is output is measured along the x-axis. If output is more than 0, these are called positive level of outputs. All the positive level of outputs, you can see P2 is less than ABC. That means ABC exceeds P2. Other words, we can say, in other words, P2 is less than ABC. But our condition is what? Our condition not P2 less than ABC. Our condition is P2 must be greater than ABC. Therefore, firm is not going to produce at P2. There is no positive output will be produced by this firm at this price P2, because P2 all the way, for all the positive output, P2 is less than ABC. What has happened? Why it is not like that? For example, at least a production firm to be in the market, that earning or the revenue should be at least equivalent to ABC. At least that the income of the firm should be able to cover the variable cost. Forget about the fixed cost. Even you are not producing, there will be fixed cost. But the firm's revenue must be equivalent to cover the variable cost. Therefore, if it is less than, price is less than variable cost, it is waste for the firm to involve in the particular production function. Therefore, what they will do, they will stop the production. What is that? They are not going to produce. If they are not going to produce, what we are going to call it? Zero level of output. Therefore, we are going to say zero output zero output by the firm at P2 price, market price, because the reason is P2 less than AVC, that is the market is unable to meet even the variable cost. Therefore, it is no point, market will not produce at this situation. If at all market has to produce a positive level of output, that is more than zero, this output is called positive level of output. If it is zero output, it will be called zero output. Here it will be output here only, the zero level. Here, therefore, this will be produced only the situation if P2 is greater than AVC. But P2 is not greater than AVC, therefore they are going to produce zero level of output. I hope you have understood this concept. Now we will go, I have already explained that the two situations we are going to discuss to derive a short-term supply curve of a firm. The first situation, P greater than AVC, I have explained to you, and the second situation, P greater than less than AVC. The condition needed for profit maximization, according to our conditions we have defined in the last class, P always must be greater than average variable cost. That means at least the income earned should be able to cover variable cost. Then that situation only the producer will go on producing that particular output. Otherwise, he will exit from the market when it is less than AVC, no point, it is zero product. It is called zero product. Therefore, the next slide we will see the price is greater than or equal to the minimum AVC. This is the case 1 to derive a market supply curve, the supply curve for a firm under perfect competitive market. What is happening? How do you derive? You equate the price P1 because that the price P1 only is greater than AVC. Price P2 is less than AVC. Therefore, the situation we are going to study is price greater than or equal to the minimum AVC. Therefore, you equating the price P1 to the rising part of the SMC curve. That means P1 line and the SMC line is going to intersect. And at that point, profit maximizing level output Q1 is determined. That I have already explained you with my diagram. This is what is explained, case 1. Case 1 is equating this price P1 level to the rising part of the SMC. Therefore, at this point, peak price line and the SMC line intersect. Here, you are fulfilling two requirements needed for profit maximizing level of output under perfect competitive market structure. What are the two conditions? P and MC is equal because they are crosses each other intersecting, and also the second one, MC non-decreasing, it is increasing. And also at this level of output I have already explained to you at this point. If you take this intersection point down at this level of output, you can observe here the third condition also. What is the third condition? Price greater than or equivalent to AVC, but it's greater for us. That condition is enough for us at this situation. P1, that is price P1 is greater than, leave it equivalent, P1 greater than AVC. Therefore, that condition also is fulfilled. Therefore, at this point, at the level of, this is the level of maximizing level of output for a firm under perfect competition. All the three conditions, P is equal to MC, MC increasing and P greater than AVC in the short run, all three conditions are fulfilled. But if you take P2, nothing is fulfilled. By P2 is, if you take P2, P2 is less than AVC. All the way for all the output level, P2 is less than AVC. Therefore, that is what it is explained here. By equating price P1 with SMC on the rising part of the SMC curve, when P1 greater than AVC, profit maximizing level of output Q1 is determined. And that is AVC at output level Q1 does not exceed the market price P1. That also we have seen. Why? You can see even one more diagram is there, back side also. The second one, price is greater than or equal to minimum AVC. I have already explained at the Q1 level output, AVC below and ABC below and price line above. Therefore, that condition also fulfilled. Because I am going back again and again in order to emphasize, you understand clearly. Because this section is a very little tough. And then the next one, thus, what is short run supply curve of a firm? Now we are going to define. How we are going to define? Thus, all the three conditions needed for profit maximizing level of output is satisfied at the output level Q1. That means what are the conditions? P greater than MC and MC non-decreasing and P greater than ABC. Therefore, hence, when the market price is P1, the firm's profit maximizing level of output in the short run is equivalent to Q1. And case 2, price less than or minimum, less than the minimum ABC, that is less than. In this case, the market price is P2, which is less than minimum ABC, the second case 2. What will happen? We have already learned under condition 3, for profit maximizing level of output, price must be greater than or equal to ABC. What is the condition here? Price is P2, less than ABC. In this condition, firm is not going to produce. That means, what do you mean by? For example, we will take a real life example. For a farmer, a small plot of land he is producing and producing tomatoes. And his total revenue is 3,000. And the variable cost incurred for that particular plot of land to produce tomato is 5,000. What do you think about it? The variable cost is 5,000 and the revenue he is deriving is average that at that particular price is less than 5,000. Whether we will continue to produce tomato? No, because he couldn't meet even the variable cost by selling the tomato. Therefore, what he will do? He will just stop producing tomato. When he stops producing tomato, what we call it as? Zero production. Therefore, hence when the market price is P1, the firm's profit maximizing level of output in the short run is equal to Q1. But when if the market price is P2, the firm produces zero level of output. The reason is the income is less, variable cost is more. Therefore, when P less than ABC, the firm cannot supply a positive level of output. What type of output is going to produce? That means, what is the point is mentioned by zero level of output? Firm is not going to produce anymore that particular commodity when the price become less than ABC. When the firm is not producing, what do you call it as? Zero product. When you firm get P greater than ABC, when produce more and more, we say positive level of output. As shown in figure 4.7, for all the positive levels, ABC strictly exceeds P2. You can observe that. Here, P2, you can see the P2. Again, I brought this table here. P2, for all the level, throughout the output level x-axis, you can see P2 line is below, ABC above. What you can call it? ABC line exceeds the P2 throughout all the positive output level. Positive output level means beyond 0 it is called positive. At 0 it is called zero output. The output is at 0 level, it is called zero output. It is beyond the 0 level of output, it is called positive level. Therefore, at P2 level, if you notice P2 level, ABC exceeds or ABC above to the P2 price level. Therefore, as long as ABC above or exceeds the price level, we call it as P less than ABC. That is P2 less than ABC. ABC upper and P2 level. Therefore, our condition is what? For the positive level output by the firm, it is P should be greater than ABC. Therefore, P1 is fulfilling that condition. P1 is greater than ABC. But P2 is all the way less than ABC. Therefore, what is going to happen? They are going to produce, firm is going to produce zero output, or you can say firm stops production. Stops production means, in other words, zero output. Therefore, what is that? Therefore, this one we have explained, P less than ABC, firm cannot supply a positive level of output, zero level of output. Therefore, if the market price P2, why? For P2 level, ABC exceeds price P2. Therefore, 0 level of output. And then what is the supply curve? We are deriving supply curve. This bold line, reddish line, red bold line indicates the supply curve. You can see the price line, this is the price line equivalent to ABC. This is the condition. Now we are bringing the equivalent point here. That means, it is for the firm to be in the market, at least price should be, firm to be in the market, at least price should be equivalent to ABC. The ABC price and the ABC should be at least equivalent. Forget about greater than, at least equivalent. Here at this point, what is happening is price equivalent to ABC. Till that point, market firm will stand in the market. At least coming income earned is able to manage the variable cost. But if it is cost less than at this point we will study later, this is the shutdown point. Shutdown point means at this point firm started to decision make whether to stay in the market or leave the market and close the business without producing particular commodity anymore. Therefore, at least it should be variable cost able to cover the market, the revenue should be able to cover the variable cost. Therefore, this is the point, is the starting point of the supply curve. What we are calling supply curve is nothing but is a part of the marginal cost curve. This is the whole marginal cost curve is this. This is called U-shaped. We have studied. It is a marginal cost shape is a U-shaped, and this is the U-shaped marginal cost curve. Here, the point where the minimum point of ABC, the rising part of the SMC, this part only is called as supply curve. Only this part is called as supply. The positive supply, positive output, this part. And also this zero output also is called as supply. This zero output when the price is P2 below the ABC. When the positive output, when we get this supply curve, when P is greater than ABC. Where we will get this one? When P less than ABC. Therefore, what we are doing? We are combining case 1 and case 2 together. Case 1 explain this portion. Case 2 explain this portion. When the price is less than ABC, zero output. When price is greater than ABC, positive level of output. Positive level of output. Therefore, this bold curves explains you that both together it is called as supply curve of a firm under given different market prices. Therefore, what is supply curve? We have to define supply curve of a firm is the rising part of the SMC curve from and above. From this point it is rising. Therefore, from and above. From means here, above means this portion, from and above of the minimum ABC. Minimum ABC. This is the minimum point of the ABC curve. ABC curve decreasing and reaches the minimum and again increasing. That and all we have studied. Law of variable proportion is a reason. Now, this is the minimum point. Therefore, what is the definition for the supply curve of a firm? This is the definition. That is, the supply curve of a firm is a part of the SMC curve, that is this portion, rising from and above of the minimum ABC curve together with the zero product for all the prices which is less than average variable cost. That is under P2 prices. This is P1 price, this is P2 price. Therefore, definition is, we are going to see the definition. Therefore, the short-term supply curve of a firm which is based on short-term marginal cost curve and average variable cost is represented by bold line. Then the definition now we are going to see. This is the definition. By combining cases 1 and 2, we define short-term supply curve of a firm as follows. A firm's short-term supply curve is the rising part. This is very important. Rising part of the SMC curve from and above the minimum ABC together with the zero output for all prices is strictly less than the minimum ABC. I hope you understood this question very clearly. This question always being asked in the final examination. 6 marks question. Explain a short-term supply curve of a firm under perfect market competition You have to write, you have to draw two diagrams under P1 and P2 prices. Then you have to draw the supply curve in the showing the part of the marginal cost curve. That is, then you will be able to, this curve also you need to, that P1 and P2 different prices as well as the final curve, supply curve. Then the definition, I hope you understood. The part of the supply curve is nothing but is a part of the SMC curve rising from and above the minimum ABC together with the zero product for all the prices. This is P2 price, all the prices which is strictly less than minimum ABC. That's it. And next we will go and see how to derive long run average cost, long run supply curve. Now we have finished up to now what is how to derive a short run supply curve. Now we are going to derive a long run supply curve of a firm under perfect competitive market structure. Here, derivation of supply curve, what this explains this firm. But a firm always have some messages. What messages from this firm we are deriving? This firm derives, see it says output is measured along x-axis and price and cost is measured along the y-axis, and also it indicates two market prices P1 and P2. Two market prices are indicated, and then also two curves are here, only two curves here, LRMC and LRAC. By LRMC, LRAC, we have already under the concept of long run, we have studied there is no differences between variable cost and fixed cost. Therefore, only total cost and marginal cost and average cost. Here we are taking average cost and LRMC curve. There were two curves, and this P1 explains when price is greater than LRAC, that is situation it explains. P2 explain when price is less than LRAC. What is the condition we studied in our the last class? The condition needed for long run supply, profit maximizing level of output under long run production. What is the condition we studied? We studied the condition as price must be greater than AC. What AC? LRAC. AC mean in the long run only one AC, no short run AC or anything, only long run AC. Therefore, price must be equivalent to price must be greater than AC in the long run. We just say AC. That means it is long run AC only, because there is no difference between long run and short run. Therefore, we studied this is the condition for the profit maximizing level of output in the long run under perfect competitive market. P must be greater than AC. That condition is fulfilled by the price P1, because price P1 above the AC curve. But P2, what is happening? P2 is all the way, it is below the LRAC curve. Therefore, to derive a supply curve, again as we have done in the short run case, here also we are going to say what is happening. Case 1, P1 greater than AC or LRAC, and P2 less than AC or less than AC mean here LRAC only, because there is no different fixed and variable. Therefore, we are going to study this one, next one. Therefore, the figure shows the output level chosen by profit maximizing firm in the long run for two values of market prices P1 and P2. When the market price is P1, the output level of the firm is Q1. When the market price is the P2, the firm produces zero output. What do you mean by? When the price less than AC, no market firm is not going to produce any output. If they don't produce, what we call it? Zero output. The same thing we have discussed in the short run also. Now, we are going to here also derivation of long run supply curve, two parts. One part, case 1. Case 1 is we are going to determine maximum level of output, profit maximizing level of output, then P is greater than long run AC. And case 2, we are going to determine the profit maximizing level of output when price is less than LRAC. Then we will combine together both positive level of output and zero level of output. We will derive the supply curve for the long run firm, similar to the short run production function. Now, when the market price is P1, which exceeds the minimum LRAC, that is P greater than LRAC. Upon equating P1 with LRMC, on the rising part of the LRMC, you get the level of Q1 output. How do you do? Yeah, here by equating by equating this price line, with the rising part of the LRMC. What is happening here? Price line and the LRMC, rising part of the LRMC intersect together. When they intersect together, what is the condition we are getting? P is equal to MC. The first condition. The second condition is what? MC is not decreasing. MC is increasing. MC increasing. And third condition is what? Price is greater than AC. Price is greater than AC. Therefore, all the three conditions needed for profit maximizing level of output is met at this point. If you extend that point to the x-axis, the level of output here, Q1, is the level of output which is profit maximizing level of output. Not only that, in the long run, firm is in equilibrium here, we can say, because it has reached the maximum level of output. If you go beyond, what will happen? MC greater than price. It will be a loss to the firm. Therefore, firm will stop here. That is the maximum level of output. I hope you have understood. What will happen to P2? P2, you can see, P2 all the way, average cost is less than, exceeds the price. Average cost is here. But also you can see here, at this level of output, you can see LRAC below, price is above. Therefore, this condition also fulfilled. Price greater than LRAC at this output level. But if you take P2, what will happen? For the P2, you can see throughout all the output level, P2 is less than LRAC. But we have studied the condition for maximizing level, it should be greater than AC. You can see, you don't confuse LRAC mean AC only, because it's long run. In the long run, there is no variable cost and fixed cost, only average cost only. Therefore, it is LRAC. Therefore, P2, it is here, it is less than AC for all the way. When the price is less than AC, no firm is going to produce. When there is firm no going to produce, what we are going to call? You call it as a zero level of output. This level of output at zero level only. Therefore, when you combine this both the condition, case 1 and case 2, you will get the long-term supply curve firm. Here you can see the 4.9 shows the output level chosen by profit maximizing firm in the long run for two values P1, P2. When the market price is P1, the output level of the firm is Q1. When the market price is P2, produces zero output. Why you know that? Because P2 is less than average cost. That is not the condition needed for profit maximization. The next one, derivation of firms in the long run supply curve, case 1 and case 2. Case 1 I have explained already, and case 1 and case 2 I have told. Case 1 is P greater than LRAC, you will produce maximum level of output. This case 2 less than LRAC, therefore you are producing zero level of output. With the diagram I have explained again and again. And now we can see, upon equating, you know case 1, what is case 1? Equating the price P1 with LRMC on the rising, whatever I explained, I have put on the slide for your revision. Therefore, and upon equating P1 with LRMC on the rising part of the LRMC curve, we obtain the output level Q1. LRMC at Q1 does not exceed the market price also. Therefore, the third condition, price should be greater than LRAC, also is fulfilled at that price P1 level. Thus, all the three conditions needed for profit maximizing level of output is fulfilled at the output level Q1. Therefore, hence, when the market price is P1, the firm supplies the long run becomes an output level equal to Q1. That means that is the Q1 is the profit maximizing level of output. Now, what we are going to see here, for all positive level of output, LRAC, if we take the second case 2, what happened to case 2? Case 2, for all level of output, LRAC strictly exceeds P2. What we have seen, P2 is at the bottom level, AC curve is upper. Therefore, AC exceeds the P2. We have seen that also. Therefore, when the P2 is less than the LRAC, firm produces zero output. That also I have explained to you. Now, this is the derivation of supply curve. This is the point here. You can observe that here price is equal to LRAC. Our condition is what? Price must be greater than or equal to LRAC. But here it became LRAC. This is the long run shutdown point. Here it is called as shutdown point. When price LRAC, till this point firm will stay in the market. If it goes less than LRAC, firm will close it. No production. That is what this is. At this price P2, we know what is P2. P2 less than LRAC. Less than LRAC. Therefore, what is produced? Zero output. What output? Zero output. Here, P1 is greater than LRAC. Therefore, we have positive output. Positive level of output, which is what? We produced in shown like a Q1 we showed. But here they didn't mention Q1, that one. Therefore, what is this is the supply curve. This the thickened part is called as these two portions here and here. This together is called as this portion and this portion together. What is this portion? This is for the P1 price, which is greater than average long run average cost. This is the output level for the less than P2 price. P2 price is what? All the way it is less than LRAC for that zero output. When the average variable cost is less than P2 is less than LRAC, you are producing zero. Therefore, this is zero output supply curve. Zero output supply curve. Output supply curve. This is positive level of output. Positive level of output supply curve. Therefore, what you would say? The long run supply curve is the curve is a part of the LRMC curve. This is a part of the LRMC, rising part of the LRMC curve from and above. You have to define from this curve from and above minimum LRAC. This is the minimum, this is the LRAC curve, decline, reaches the minimum, then again increased. We have studied it under law of returns to scale. Therefore, you have to say the supply curve under long run is a rising part of this portion, LRMC curve, from and above the minimum LRAC together with the zero output for all the prices which is less than LRAC, that is P2 prices, is called as supply curve of a long run supply curve of a firm. Therefore, when you refer supply curve as a long run supply curve, you have to define this portion as well as this portion. Both together constitute for the long run supply curve of a firm. This one, how do you will say? This is the rising, that is supply curve of a long run supply curve of a firm is a rising part of the LRMC curve from and above minimum LRAC together for all the together zero with the zero output for all the prices, that is P2 price, which is less than LRAC, is called as long run supply curve. That's it. I think I have clearly explained to you. Therefore, what they are telling is long run supply curve is determined with the help of two curves. One is LRMC, other one is LRAC. Now, combining our two cases, case 1, that is P1 greater than LRAC, case 2, P2 less than LRAC, we are going to finally define what is our supply curve definition. This is the definition for long run supply curve of a firm. A firm's long run supply curve is the rising part of the LRMC curve and above and from and above the minimum LRAC together with the zero output for all the prices which is less than the minimum LRAC, that is P2 price. Figure 4.1, that bold line represents the log, both the bold line express that. And one thing I want to tell, we always think about maximum output, maximum profit, everything. What about our life? What we are going to maximum in our life? It's a particular very limited lifespan we have, below 80 or below 90 or below 60 or something. What we are going to maximum, because it is our institution, is a institution for the values also. I have to mention here this point also. All the time profit maximizing level of output, everything maximizing all these items. What about we are going to maximize? All the Puranas says, always help ever, hurt never, love all, serve all. You have to, students, wherever you are, surrounding, you see the suffering people around you in your village or in your city. At least feed one of them daily. At least give them their needs, thereby get a maximum benefit in the given span of time for you in this birth. Always do some help. Look for the suffering of the others. Don't close your eyes and always think about your welfare. Think about others' welfare. When you help others, God will definitely help you. He doesn't. That is what it says. Hand that serves is holier than the lips that pray. Always look for the others' suffering. When you eat three times food, very sumptuous food, think of the people who live on the huts, live on the roads, live on the villages. Always helps whoever around you, old people, they are unable to get their work done, or any way, whatever the possible way, extend your hand. When you raise your hand for other people, it is raised for the God. Therefore, studying economics and maximizing this limited company of life is not going to help us. For the eternal happiness, you have to help others. Seeing them without asking them. They shouldn't ask you, help me or give me food, give me this, give me, educate me. See the children around you without education. Go them, pick up them and keep them, and at least 1 hour spend for them, educate them. Give them some moral support. Give them a good suggestion to lead a happy life. Therefore, this is a very foremost duty in front of you. When we see and study all these economic concepts, how to maximize our revenue, how to maximize our these things only for this world. But when you do this type of service with your inborn nature, without any compulsion, automatically, really I will tell you, there you are maximizing the benefit of your life, which is given by God in this birth. And there are assignments. That assignments I have already explained. Derive a long-run supply curve of a firm, derive a short-run supply curve of a firm. And thank you for your patient listening. We'll meet in the next class. Sai Ram to you all.